We populate the show with a few other things, a little lighter on a Friday. And perhaps the thing that squires us into the weekend on a lighter note is the world of entertainment, movies, streaming, TV. This guy has been a long-time writer and critic, music, movies. Pretty extraordinary. He himself a screenwriter. And he comes and goes on a rainbow. He's the brilliant culture blaster, Michael Snyder, everyone.
Hey, Mark, Kim, the wonderful Albert, and of course the Remarkables. We wouldn't be here without you guys. Word has just come down off the news ticker. Trump-branded floaties are now for sale at the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh, that's great. For use in the memorial. That's wonderful. In the reflecting pool?
Yeah, great. I also heard...
The word pool is right in there. It's called a pool for a reason.
He wants to put his little feet in there at some point, I think, on a hot summer day. By the way, I heard earlier that you were going to be more careful regarding your branding of Pete Hegseth as a frat boy. And I have to tell you, my pal Hugh Brown now refers to Kash Patel and Pete Hegseth as Trump's liquor cabinet.
Oh, that's great.
I know. But after, your discussion earlier about, being careful about what you say regarding the Secretary of War, I'm going to stop calling him Keg's Breath or Old Whiskey Pete so as to not insult alcohol-fueled bullies.
I will tell you this, Michael, not to interrupt, but to interrupt. Sure. I did get this note today.
I've received a lot of positive letters.
Hi, Mark. We are in Portugal listening right now.
What?
Thank you to everyone, Kim, Albert, Tony, and yourself for the great job you do and day in and day out. So a new nickname title that I heard for the comedy team of Hegseth and Patel is The Liquor Cabinet.
Right.
So that is even across the way in Portugal, they picked that up. He says, I can't take any credit, but we wanted to pass it on. Seems pretty timely.
Yeah.
Ray and Janice in Portugal. Thank you.
All I can say about that is that small minds run along the same gutter. But anyway, let's get down to business because this is a big weekend with a very controversial film opening wide across the great United States of America, and that would be Michael, the ostensible biopic about Michael Jackson. And we got to kick off with this. This is the high-profile Michael Jackson biography that has apparently been greeted in wildly different fashion by critics and fans. People either love it or hate it, and the audiences have been giving it amazing reviews, and the critics have not been so kind. I haven't read any specific reviews by my colleagues, but you can see the numbers out there on things like Rotten Tomatoes. As far as me, I'm in the middle here, First things first, I had no quibbles with the crucial and stunning performance by Michael Jackson's nephew, Jafar Jackson, as Jacko himself. I believe he's Jermaine's son. And I mean... the young adult version of Michael, can you call him a young adult? He was a phenomenal performer, but he clearly suffered from arrested development on the social side. But yes, he hit his 20s, etc. And, he was, as a kid, the lead singer of the Jackson 5, massively popular family performing group. And, there are moments in this thing that I love, but the movie leaves out or glosses over so much. Rebby Jackson, the eldest sister, Randy Jackson, the youngest brother, and the great Janet Jackson, whose album Rhythm Nation is my favorite from any of these people in the family, are nowhere to be seen in this film. It's like they've been, I hate to use the phrase whitewashed, but you just don't see them.
You're kidding. So what do they do?
They just make it like there's just the six of them, the 5 Jackson boys, and LaToya's there because she'll do anything. No, anyway, I guess if you're a Jackson family member, you had to sign off on this thing, and they controlled a lot of the content. So that may explain why, I don't know, there are a few anachronisms, and the whole 2-hour enterprise stops with his triumphant concert tour to promote the album Bad and never gets to the, and forgive me for this, the ugly accusations of pedophilia and other I guess we'd call them scandals or controversies that dogged Michael Jackson in the latter part of his career before his unfortunate passing. We see someone who was thrust into show business by his tyrannical father, Joe.
So they do play that up.
Oh, yes. And he never had anything resembling a normal childhood, which kind of explains, like I said earlier, kind of an arrested development, a naivete or seeming naivete. He was secluded. He was molded. And to be fair to Joe Jackson, he whipped up a hell of an act, and he had, a
Literally
brilliant
whipped up, from what I'm told.
Well, yeah, I'll get to that in a moment. The other truly overwhelming performance in the movie, besides Jafar Jackson playing Michael himself, has to be the dynamic Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson. But this guy is so evil. I kind of wanted a cage match between him and Brian Wilson's father, Murray Wilson. That would have been great. They were both manipulative, problematic martinets that basically ran their family business or turned their kids into a family business. And, I have to say, the hits keep coming. The Jackson 5 hits, the Michael Jackson solo hits. This is flawed, but the music and the fan service make for an entertaining kind of jukebox-ish experience. It's nice to see Michael get out from under his father's thumb and throw off the restrictions of being that cute little guy who, by the way, very well played here by a young actor named Giuliano Valdi when he was in the Jackson 5. We see Michael visiting sick kids in the hospital, Michael with his menagerie, especially Bubbles the chimp. But it's, I don't know. The missing members of the family and the decision to end the movie where they did end it does play into the complaints about it being sanitized in a way. To be fair, you did bring this up. It's really hard to watch Joe whip little Michael with the leather belt whenever the kid balked at being molded into a mini star. And so help me, when it first happened, I couldn't help but think about that song "Beat It" by Michael Jackson. But this is written by the Oscar-winning screenwriter John Logan, who did Gladiator. It's directed by Antoine Fuqua, who did Training Day. Wow. So the pedigree is not an issue, but all of it had to be approved by the core members of the family.
It was dry cleaned by the family.
Who agreed to be depicted here, and by one of the movie's producers, John Branca, by the way, the manager-agent type that wrested Michael from the grip of Joe for his solo career, and who's played here as a white knight by Miles Teller.
Oh, wow.
Neil
so
Long,
got some really great performances in
hang
this
on,
thing.
Catherine Jackson, the family matriarch, very sympathetically portrayed by the great Nia Long. And by its omissions and the decision to avoid any scandal other than Joe's abuse and the Pepsi commercial fire that was so devastating to Michael, and, he had to be hospitalized with burns and whatever. This is a glitzy, hit-laden puff piece that glorifies Michael Jackson's talent, paints him in a saintly way, and is really, delightful for fans, I'm sure. And
what's more shellacked and much more varnished? Melania or this?
I really, having not had I use the word advisedly, pleasure of watching Melania, I don't know.
This kid is amazing looking. Look at him. He really does do a good job on Michael.
He is a genuine talent.
Wow.
The kid is, really wonderful in it. And again, I love Coleman Domingo. And even though he's like chewing the scenery, you got to figure that Joe Jackson was pretty monstrous.
No, he was apparently rough.
But
man, I mean, to ignore the Michael Jackson pedophilia scandals is just
You do see him being comforting toward sick children in the hospital, and your heart goes out to him. And then you think,
he's actually grooming them for the time they get out of the hospital. All right. Anyway,
okay. It's in theaters wide. Michael, almost critic proof by the looks of things. Okay, moving on, because we must. I Swear is a rather different kind of biopic, and a better one, to be honest, than Michael. In the quirky, heartwarming tradition of British movies about misfits and underdogs that find success against the odds, this is the true story of John Davidson, not the American singer and actor. Mm-hmm. John Davidson, played by Robert Aramayo, a guy who struggled with Tourette's syndrome since his teens, was humiliated by his peers because of it, and eventually became an advocate for those with the condition. This is not saccharine in the least, and in fact, it's often kind of daunting because of the nature of the subject and the kind of uncomfortable interpersonal relations that Tourette's syndrome engenders. And those who don't know, verbal outbursts at inappropriate times, almost like, it is a tic, and vulgarity spewed out, and it's not meant by the sufferer of Tourette's syndrome as something to cause harm. It's just something almost uncontrollable. It's a psychological circumstance, and Davidson had it. I got to say, the struggle of the protagonist and the triumph of his campaign to fit in to society and bring attention to the disorder and humanize people who wrestle with it. Genuinely uplifting here. I mean, Arameo is astonishing and heartbreaking and kind of inspiring as Davidson. And this guy was honored for his educational efforts by Queen Elizabeth, who presented him with an MBE in 2019. And we get a little glimpse at that. As far as the supporting cast, Shirley Henderson, the great character actress, is typically terrific as John's bewildered mother. Heather doesn't know how she's going to deal with this. And Peter Mullen is also on board as John's supportive boss. This is written and directed by Kirk Jones. It's a wonderful film. It's called I Swear. And you may or may not have heard about the BAFTA issue. Apparently, at the British Movie Awards, I guess Davidson was there, as was Arameo. It was nominated in a number of categories. And while the guys were up accepting for Sinners, a racial epithet or two was spewed uncontrollably by Arameo out in the audience or in the wings, and it caused a bit of a furor. But yeah, that said, this is in select theaters, and I do recommend people check out
And just to be clear about who he was, because I don't know that that's clear. He was an advocate for people with Tourette syndrome.
Like I said, he became an advocate, but he had to go through a gauntlet of abuse and self-recrimination in order to get to the point where he would stand up for other people that have to deal with Tourette syndrome.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okie dokie. All right. Moving on. Over Your Dead Body is next on the list here, and it's based on the Norwegian comedic thriller The Trip. And it includes, and I say this because one of our wonderful listeners was a little miffed that I didn't elaborate on the amount of violence in the movie Normal, went to see it and was a little put off by what was going on screen. And I apologize. I did say that it was cartoonishly violent and, caveat emptor, but I will reinforce that here for the review of Over Your Dead Body, which again, is based on The Trip and includes seriously violent and gory moments in case that would bother you. But Over Your Dead Body is a nasty and clever riot from start to finish. It stars Jason Segel from Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and he played Marshall on How I Met Your Mother. Really very entertaining actor. And Samara Weaving, newly crowned Scream Queen for her awesome antics in the Ready or Not horror comedies. And these guys play a couple. He's a minor filmmaker. She's a lesser actress, and their relationship has soured, and they each secretly plan to deal with the situation one way or another on a weekend getaway to their cozy little house in the woods. But they are unaware of three fugitives, two killers who just escaped from a penitentiary, and a renegade female prison guard with the hots for one of the convicts, and they're hiding out in the house when they get there. So those baddies, who are played, incidentally, by Timothy Olyphant, Keith Jardine, and Juliette Lewis, they have no intention of letting the scheming couple get in the way of their getaway. So Over Your Dead Body, which was directed by Jorma Taccone of the Lonely Island comedy music trio that also includes SNL's Andy Samberg and Akiva Schaffer. This is twisted in every sense of the word. And those twists and turns are a major part of the fun here. I want to give a yay to the cast, to Taccone, and the screenwriters Nick Kocher and Brian McElhenney. I was amused by Over Your Dead Body. Over Your Dead Bodies is in theaters wide across the country.
Over Your Dead Body. There you have it.
Okay, I'm just going to do some shorts here because I want to,
Yeah, you have limited time.
I do. So we're going to talk briefly about Fuse, which is a wonderful melange of action, mystery, crime, drama. There are unexpected revelations, and there's a heist. I love heist movies.
Yeah.
So this is an extremely entertaining thrill ride that starts when an unexploded World War II bomb is dug up at a construction site in London, bringing in the bomb experts from the army, the cops, having people evacuate the area, including a Middle Eastern family that seemed nice enough, and their neighbors. They're all leaving. And then while this ruckus is going on and the leader of the bomb squad is doing his best to somehow defuse this ticking bomb, there's a heist of a local bank. And it really beautifully tells the story of all these aspects, and it's juggling a lot of balls in it, and all the balls stay in the air, and you got a really good cast here. And they're led by Aaron Taylor Johnson as the head of the bomb crew, Theo James as one of the thieves, and Gugu Mbatha Raw as one of the cops, plus Sam Worthington. It's a good cast. It's a very entertaining movie. It kept me on the, I guess you'd call it, the edge of my seat for the entirety of its 1 hour, 37-minute running time. It is in select theaters. Fuse, F-U-Z-E, it lit me up. Let's put it that way.
All right. I like it.
And
I like a heist movie, so I'll be in there.
I hope so. Director David Mackenzie, kudos to him, and
Select theaters is where it is.
Screenwriter Ben Hopkins. It's available in L.A. and New York, and hopefully San Francisco and other cities soon.
What else do you have, Culture Blast?
Okay.
I'm running out of time.
Thoughtfully written by Robert Machoyan and sensitively directed by Cole Webley and beautifully acted, Omaha is simply a deeply sad road trip movie about a single father and his two young children, a girl and a boy, traveling east in a beater car to Omaha, Nebraska, after they're evicted from their modest home in what appears to be a working-class neighborhood out west. It's tender and it's brutal at the same time, and it's centered by a quietly heart-rending performance by John Magaro, who was so good in the Munich terrorist movie set at the Olympics September 5th. And he plays the father who is determined not to let the kids know the true nature of the trip. And those kids, Molly Bell Wright plays Ella, Wyatt Solis plays little Charlie. They will rip you up and maybe tear you up as you watch this thing.
I'm sorry, what's the true nature of the trip?
Well,
you
he's just
didn't
been evicted
say.
from the house.
I see.
And they're going east to Omaha, Nebraska, and he has a reason, and he's keeping it from the kids.
And you're keeping it from us right now.
I am, because that's part of what's going on
Okay,
here.
I just want to be sure that I didn't miss anything.
I will tell you this, considering the state of the union, I mean, America right now, and the increasing divide between the haves and the have-nots, this is all too relevant. Could not keep up the payments on the house.
Well, it's what I need. I'm looking for something brutal and sad these days, because real life is such an upper.
You could say this is kind of like tragedy porn to an extent.
Okay.
But it's important to be aware of the human cost of poverty and its effect on innocence. I think Omaha is a powerful film. It's a little film. It's focused in on these three people, but it doesn't make that any less impactful.
Culture blaster with some, I would say, some cultural philosophy that you've laid onto your.
Omaha is in select theaters.
In select theaters, go for it. We're almost out of time.
I understand that. I will quickly talk about two more. We'll kick it off this last segment of the Culture Blast with Desert Warrior. It's intended as an historical epic based on some actual events and boasting sprawling sun-baked settings and seeming hordes of extras. This somewhat tedious 2-hour-long adventure movie, Desert Warrior, has more than its share of clunky moments and weird camera angles and edits. It nominally stars Anthony Mackie. Love Anthony Mackie. He plays a roving thief of the burning Arabian sands, and it features no less than Sir Ben Kingsley in what is really a glorified cameo as a cruel Arabian emperor, and Sharlto Copley as a swarthy antagonist who has it in for the thief. But it is essentially the tale of a renegade princess played by Aisha Hart, who is trying to avoid being another of the emperor's abused concubines, so she's on the run. And this has its moments, and they gather all the tribes together to maybe oppose the oppressive troops of the emperor. The moments are few and far between, but some of the battle sequences have that big screen sweep of back in the day blockbusters. And this is interesting. It's directed by Rupert Wyatt, who previously made 2011's raucous Rise of the Planet of the Apes and a decent 2009 prison drama called The Escapist. But Desert Warrior pales by comparison. It's in theaters. And let's just close things out, because we are at the end of our rope, with Apex, and it's a better action adventure thriller. We give you a biopic and then a better biopic. We give you an adventure movie and a better one. Apex can be watched on Netflix right now. Great cast, real tension, super creepy villain. It's a throwaway popcorn muncher, but man, Charlize Theron is a physical marvel, as Sasha, a tough girl rock climbing, kayaking daredevil who is thrust into peril. And Taron Egerton is miles away from his hero role in the Kingsman movies and his portrayal of Elton John in Rocket Man as an unhinged apex predator chasing Sasha in the Australian wilderness. As tales of survival go, this is a white knuckler.
Wow.
Even if the character played by Egerton is as extreme as the outdoor sports that Sasha favors. I mean, it's over the top. Eric Bana shows up in a supporting role, and it's directed by Iceland's Baltasar Kormákur, who has done some kind of cool movies, adventure stuff like Everest and Beast, and the weird dark comedy 101 Reykjavik. And this is on Netflix, so you can just watch it this
I might get
weekend.
into that, although it sounds like it's really a tense ride. I don't know.
It is, and I did see one plot twist coming down the river, if you will.
Yeah.
And I was in a kayak, and I didn't capsize, but there it was.
Apex is in the world of Netflix if you want to check it out. Creepy villain, Charlize Theron apparently, tough girl rock climber, chased by Taron Egerton. Apparently it's quite an impressive showing.
In that regard.
I don't know what happened to all my notes on what I've just seen.
I don't know.
No,
Desert Warrior.
No, I have it here. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I've got it right here. Just settle.
I was going to help.
Why are you yelling?
I do, and I do, and I do for you kids, and this is the thanks I get.
Eric Bana's in the movie as well. Apex is at a device near you. It's on Netflix. Desert Warrior is a sprawling film, epic-ish, somewhat tedious at times. Anthony Mackie playing a roving thief. Ben Kingsley makes a kind of a cameo. From the director of Rise of Planet of the Apes, the Culture Blaster feels it doesn't quite make it. He says it is missable. Desert Warrior. Omaha, tender, brutal, sad, just what you need. After an eviction, father with the family, driving to Omaha. It's a window on the human cost of poverty, and Michael says it is terrific. The performances are terrific. The subject matter is important. He recommends it, and it is in select theaters.
It's a modest film, but it will move you.
Fuse, F-U-Z-E, is the mix of mystery and crime with a heist attached to it. An unexploded World War II bomb is discovered, and then there's a bank heist at the same time. It sounds good.
It rocked.
I'm excited about that. That's in select theaters. It's called Fuse. Over Your Dead Body has a lot of violence. Be careful. But it's based on The Trip, and it is nasty and clever from start to finish. He likes it a lot. Jason Segel, Samara Weaving. Samara Weaving is in it, right?
Yeah, she is. She's, I believe she's an Aussie actress. She's the star of the Ready or Not movies, and she's back in another kind of wild ride. And again, it's funny as well, darkly funny.
Timothy Oliphant and Juliette Lewis also make appearances. Over Your Dead Body is in select theaters. I Swear is the biopic about John Davidson, who is the Tourette syndrome advocate out of England, played by Robert Aramayo. It is a biopic about John Davidson, and Michael says it's really good.
It is.
And it's an award winner as well. It won some awards. And he started with Michael, which is the, it would seem to me, varnished over story of Michael Jackson. It was a project approved by the family. And while Joe Jackson comes across in a less than positive light, to be polite about it, the rest of Michael Jackson's controversial story later in his life, the revelations about everything that he's been accused of, they were left out of the movie completely.
There's almost, at the end of the film, almost a to be continued title card, almost something like, and the music played on, or some such.
But the reality of these performances and those who were involved in this film can't be denied, said the Culture Blaster, and it is really very impressive, the work of some very talented people.
The son of Jermaine Jafar Jackson plays Michael, and he's really dead on.
Michael is in theaters in wide release. Culture Blaster, do you have anything else for us?
I am going to hit the brewery. I'm in Los Angeles on this current leg of the coastal commute, and I'm going to be going to the brewery this weekend for their art walk. My buddy Todd will have an open studio. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And there are a couple other things, but I don't want them to get too crowded, so I'm not going to tip my hand about where I'm
You
going
have a
tonight.
rich life, Culture Blaster. You do a lot, and that's a great, great quality that you have, Culture Blaster. I don't know how you do it. You're very, very impressive in the schedule that you keep.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved.
No, that's Pete Hegseth. Come on, get
don't know.
No. Anyway,
well done,
Thank you,
Culture
sir.
Blaster. He comes and goes on a rainbow. By the way, if you want to read the Culture Blaster, and I find reading him is almost a better experience than having to sit here and listen to him every week. The Culture Blaster is a brilliant writer, all kidding aside, and I love reading your musings. TheVoiceSF.org is where you can find him. TheVoiceSF.org.
and boy, before we get out of here, Giants Marlins at Oracle Park. Go Giants! I'm
How do
outie.
you do it?
I'm
Everything that you do, you just are so impressive with the.
I've never seen anything like
It's
it.
very impressive what you do. The Culture Blaster, everybody. Yeah, all right.
Two rainbows. It's a double rainbow.
Very, very impressive. The Culture Blaster. Show yourself out.
Thompson Show.
This is Mark Thompson.